Hey, fishy people. This is gonna be one of my first rant videos on things I really don't like. And the number one thing I don't like is horrible tanks with horrible filters. Calling you out, Alkion, Tetra, and it's a lot of the marine land products right now. If you have a filter that relies on something like this, you have a bad filter. This is not good filtration. What you're doing with this is you've got some mechanical filtration, which is just the sleeve itself. You know, the white portion of this is going to filter out large particulates. That makes your water look a little bit better, but not great. The charcoal is going to polish your water to a degree, and what they're using that mostly to rely on is to absorb ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, which is just the worst way of filtering your water possible. Here is my system. You know, I have a lot of fish. This is a 400-gallon system starting from here going to here. 30-gallon tanks, 30-gallon, 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 30-gallon. That's a 60. That's so this one's a little bit bigger. That's a 60 and 60. But you know, it's not a huge system. I have a massive amount of fish. Do you know what keeps this alive? Zero charcoal. That is the worst way of keeping a fish alive possible. I do have filter floss down here. This is to polish my water. This is similar to the white stuff on the outside of that. And I clean this daily. That's really just to remove particulates. That's to make the water look pretty. That has nothing to do with the health of my fish. What keeps my fish alive are these giant towers in the back. These are 5-foot bio towers, and I have one tower per row of tanks. That's biofiltration. That is the good bacteria that you're always talking about when it comes to a cycle and everything else. That's what eats up ammonia. It's the nitrobacter, nitrosomosomas, nitrobactersomas, or something like that. I can never remember them. That's what eats up ammonia, which is bad, turns into nitrite, which is bad, turns it into nitrate, which is okay until you do a water change. When you are dealing with this, you have no good bacteria unless you're using this improperly. What you're doing is you're changing this every 2 weeks to once a month, which is essentially the period it takes for your charcoal to get used up. It takes at least 2 weeks for your bacteria to accumulate. So if you're changing this every 2 weeks to a month, you're not relying on bacteria. You're just trying to suck up all that bad stuff with a crappy, pardon my language, sponge. And it doesn't work very well, especially if you have a lot of fish. You know, this might work well if you've got a beta or two. Once you start stocking your tank and your bioload goes up and you've got more ammonia, this isn't get clogged up within a week. So unless you're changing these out once a week, you know, it's not doing the job, and you're gonna have fish that are extremely stressed out until you do that water change, which is gonna help a little bit, but not a whole lot. And it's just bad. The reason that they sell these is because they make money on you. They get to sell you these over and over again, and you rely on them. That's purely it. You know, they sell you a cheap tank with a cheap filter that does not work very well, and then they hook you in and they charge you just arm over leg over and over again. It ends up being a way more expensive system, and it's a worse system. A couple things I have out. So alternatives. Get a filter that relies on biological media. This is biological media. There's a whole bunch of different forms. The stuff I have in here, this is marine pure, so it's a slightly bigger ball. This comes in sheets. You can get bio balls that look like that. You can get bio balls that look like that are round. Anything biological. You're just looking for a giant surface area for that good bacteria that breaks down the ammonia and the nitrite. That's what you need. The only hang on the back filters I carry are AquaClear. I love them. I believe in them. What's great about AquaClears, and the reason I carry them is, for one, they're fairly cheap. But in addition, this is just a big open back compartment. So there's no filter cartridge, there's no slot. You can put whatever you want back there. They give you media, they give you some charcoal, which again is not bad for polishing your water, not good for keeping your fish alive in my mind. They give you biofilter and they give you a sponge. The sponge is your mechanical, it lasts forever. You never need to replace it, you just rinse it out in all tank water every now and then. That's mechanical and bio as long as you rinse it out in tank water, not tap water. You've got ceramic media, which lasts forever, and then charcoal if you want it, cool. If you don't need it. That's to make your water look pretty. That's every 30 days if you're using it. But if you don't want to use it, you can get something better. You know, you can put Purigen in there. Way better water polisher, lasts way longer, way cheaper in my mind if you use it how it's meant. You can put ChemiPure, which I have back here. You know, you can put whatever you want in it. You don't have to rely on their brand. You know, you don't have to get the M series Tetra or the, you know, Easy Change #1 or whatever that is. You know, I don't even sell these. The reason I have these is because people brought in their old tanks that they didn't like, that they're having issues with, and they gave them to me. So that's just stuff people gave me because they were so unhappy with it. I do stock AquaClears. I love AquaClears. I love biomedia. I'll stock every kind of biomedia around everything else. But yeah, I can't stand it. You know, the tanks that I carry, and there are other brands that do this, but I carry a lot of fluvels. The awesome thing about these Fluval tanks is, and by the way, AquaClear is the same brand as Fluval. It's just a different parent company's Hagen, but same brand. The awesome things about Fluvals, here's 2 different Fluvals, and I've got another one over here. I'm a big fan of them. Is aside from having really good lights that can grow plants, which Aqueon, Tetra, and Marineland tanks definitely do not have, the filtration makes sense. Here's a giant sponge. That giant sponge is my mechanical as well as biological. I've got bio in there and more bio. The bottom bio is what comes with it. The top compartment, you normally have charcoal or Purigen or something else. I just added more bio to it because you can't have too much bio. But yeah, you know, these things are awesome. These tanks are, maybe you're spending $20 more than your Aqueon or Marineland counterpart, but you're saving so much money long run. They work way better. If you're to look at this filtration compartment on this back of this 2.6 gallon tank, and actually measure the volume of that and then compare it to the volume of this AquaClear 50, which is meant to run a 20 to 50 gallon tank, this has just as much or more volume. And that's not saying that's a bad filter, because that's a really good filter. It's just that is how crazy of a filtration you have in this tank. You know, if that was a bigger tank, I could throw giant fish in there and I wouldn't have an issue. This is even more impressive. This is a 13 gallon tank. And I've got, I don't know what that is. That looks like 3 inches by 12 inches, by 8 inches or something. Like, that's a massive amount of filtration. Holy smokes. On a tiny tank. So yeah, I'm sorry. And not to say that you have to buy a Fluval. There are definitely other brands that do a good job with this. But you're gypping yourself if you think that the cheapo garbage Petco Walmart brand is as good as, I shouldn't say, I shouldn't refer to it as Petco, because Petco does sell Fluval. But if you think that you're getting a crazy good deal with the Tetra, Marineland, Aqueon, and all of the other ones that are like that, it's not the deal you're thinking you're getting. And the reason I bring this up so much is that all day long I get customers that just came from Petco, or one of the competitors, I shouldn't be saying names, got horrible advice, killed all their fish, have a bad tank, put inappropriate fish in there to begin with, don't realize the limitations of the tank they got, and then they go, what? I could have paid, you know, $20 more and gotten a light that actually grows plants. I could have gotten a filter that actually, you know, you can stock the tank with, you know, aside from just having a single beta or something. So yeah, there is good cheap stuff. There is a lot of bad cheap stuff. And it bums me out when I have people all day coming in with problems over and over, spending tons of money on these filters, and typically it's, you know, it's people that wanted a cheaper route, and that's not the cheaper route. Sick fish is not cheap. Replacing these all the time is not cheap. Having your fish die is not cheap. Having to upgrade your filter later on, upgrade your light later on is not cheap. So there's my rant number 1, and we'll keep going with these. Hope your tank's doing well. Hope you're having a good day. Bye.